Prime Minister says that you have an agreement on a youth mobility scheme in the papers today. Am I correct?
Nothing is agreed until everything is agreed. So that's the situation with regard to that. But what I've said, what the Prime Minister...
But it's on the table.
What I've said and what the Prime Minister has said is that we would be open to a smart, controlled youth mobility scheme. But I should set out, we will not return to freedom of movement. We've currently got 13 youth mobility schemes with countries at the moment.
I get that, but let me tell you why this is so mysterious to me. And I'm going to play you a clip now of your colleague Yvette Cooper talking to me in that chair just a few weeks ago. How are you getting on with negotiating a youth mobility scheme with the EU?
Well, we've been clear that we need net migration to come down. Under the Conservatives, net migration quadrupled in the space of 4 years. That was the wrong thing for the UK. So we're clear that net migration needs to come down. So that's why this is not an approach that we are looking for.
So no youth mobility scheme?
That's not the right starting point for us at all, because what we need to do is to bring net migration down.
So if you get a youth mobility scheme in this agreement, when is Yvette Cooper going to resign?
Yvette Cooper is doing an absolutely fantastic job as...
Yeah, but she's not doing the job that... You're not doing the job she wants you to do, which is, this is not an approach.
No. We've said we would listen to sensible EU proposals.
She just said this is not an approach we want.
What Yvette Cooper is saying there, and is absolutely the policy of the government, is that we are going to reduce the level of net migration. And anything that was agreed on youth mobility, which, by the way, would be opportunities for young British people to experience different cultures, to travel and work. Anything we agree will be consistent...
I know you want me to deflect from this.
No. Let me answer your question directly. Anything that was agreed would be consistent with the objective of the Migration White Paper, which is to bring the level of net migration down. And that's absolutely what
Yvette Cooper is extremely skilled at doing these interviews, and that was as clear a statement as I've ever heard from her on anything, which was that the youth mobility scheme is not an approach that we want to take. That was a few weeks ago. The position's obviously changed, so what did you get in return for agreeing to the youth mobility scheme that she so clearly did not want?
Well, it's a package with the European Union. It is about an overall package that works for Britain.
And what have you got in response?
But in terms, it doesn't work in that way.
It's a compliment to you that you managed to get something out of them. We just want to know what it is.
No. It is about getting an overall balanced package that works for Britain, that works for jobs, works for borders and gets people's bills down. But specifically in relation to this, the government is 100% behind the objective of getting net migration down. Those are the measures, the purpose of the measures we set out in the Migration White Paper last week.
Right.
And that is the excellent work that Yvette Cooper is doing at the Home Office.
All right. If there is a youth mobility scheme, will there be a cap on the numbers?
We've said it has to be controlled, it has to be smart and controlled. Forgive me for not being drawn any further, Trevor, negotiating across your show, but as a matter of principle...
If there isn't a cap, it's unfettered...
No.
I mean, there were more than 1 million young people who came to this country from the EU between 2004 and 2015. If there isn't a cap, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, it has to be controlled. I've said that has to be controlled, absolutely. But the point I would make again is the promise we've made is not going back to freedom of movement. We have, for example, a youth mobility scheme with, say, Uruguay, for example. Nobody says that we have freedom of movement with Uruguay.
There are not a million people coming here from Uruguay.
We're talking about a smart, controlled scheme, and that's what we are negotiating forward.